Hi everybody, it's Meredith here again. Today I wanted to go over paper quilling. So quilling with paper. This tradition or this art form goes back to ancient Egypt, when nuns would use it to decorate religious items, and then they have seen it in the 18th century Italy. Um, when I got into it, I had purchased a kit back maybe even 20 years ago. It was a long time ago when Martha Stewart Crafts used to sell through their website. I don't know if they still do that. I know she sells at Michael's for years now, but it was an art kit that I had gotten back then, and I'd gotten really into it. And I kind of randomly will pick it back up, but it's not something that I'm a professional at. It's not something that I've done a ton, but when I have done it, I have really enjoyed it. It's pretty easy to get down the basic shapes. So we're going to go over the basic shapes today, and then we're going to go over some examples of how you can use those basic shapes in an item to make. So the first thing you're going to want to need is your quilling paper. Now my quilling paper came looking like this in strips all attached to either side, and you rip it off. What ended up happening is that it ended up happening like this. I'm an organized person, but my gosh, that's some little paper to keep organized. So that's the reality. The second thing you're gonna need is a little tool. This is my tool, and I've seen them where they're a little more full size, pen size. And what it is, it has a metal tip on the end with a split between it. So you're gonna need that. And you're gonna need glue. You can use any sort of clear glue. I love Elmer's glue, traditional old school glue. And then you're gonna need a template. Mine looks like this. And you'll need something that is like that. This isn't necessary unless you want all your shapes to be the same size. Then it is a little necessary. I like having it. And like I said, my kit came with everything. Now you can see, I know Hobby Lobby, I saw them there the other day, that they had quilling stuff. So it's a good place to go. So you're gonna take your strip of fabric, and you're gonna take your tool, and you slit the strip of fabric into that little slit on the metal tool. And once you have it placed in, you're gonna start turning. Start turning it until all your paper is wound around that metal tool. We're just gonna go over like those basic shapes so that you can get started. And then later on down the line, I'll probably post a video on more intricate kind of details you can add. So we're gonna bring it all the way around until I get at the very end and I pull the whole thing off, okay? So I have my wound up paper. You take your template, and I'm gonna use this size right here, and I put it on the template, and I hold it, but I let it expand to that size. So you can see right there, it's expanded to that size. So then I gently take it off, and I'll glue on that tail end, leaving it loose. So don't like tighten it up. Keep it that size, okay? So, and then what I tend to do is I'll leave it on the template. If I'm making a bunch of the same shape, I'll leave it on the template and just kind of keep making them, and then the glue can dry while I'm making the other ones. So I had some pre-made because I know that waiting for glue isn't fun. So this is what you're gonna end up with, just a round curly Q paper. Now you can leave it round like this. You can press one side down and make it into almost a petal, kind of a flower petal. Or you can do both sides. So I'm gonna do that on a separate one actually. So we're gonna do both sides, and you press down together. Press down and bring it back up. It's almost like an eyeball or a leaf. So see how it kind of turns? I like that. I think if they have a little bit of variation, I think overall, when you step back and look at what you've made, I think it looks really cool. So you can see this is another one, another color that I did, a teal. And then this is a green in the leaf kind of style. Okay, so those are like your basic shapes, and those basic shapes can take you really far. You can do a lot with those. So other things you can do are, let me take another piece of paper. You can take your paper. Now this paper I cut down. You can leave it the full size. It'll just make your curl a little bit more dense, but this one I cut down halfway. And you can fold it in half. Okay. And then so when you open it up, you're gonna take this end, put it in your tool, and start curling. Now what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna curl towards the inside. So you're gonna curl that way. Curl, 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 till you hit maybe a certain point where you feel comfortable. I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna let go. Now I'm gonna do the other side. By the way, I did this with a downward facing camera. It did not turn out well, so we're gonna try it forward facing, so you guys get to look at me this whole time, sorry. But I hope you can see better. So again, going that same way in towards it, you're gonna go like that. And you let it go. And however tight you want it, you can make it. And look, it becomes a heart. And you can glue that together. You can shorten this up by going farther down. All sorts of things. So it's a heart. Another thing you could do is leave one end that way. And then look, it's a mustache. No, you can leave it and make curls. Just add decorative elements around your quilling. So there's all sorts of things, turning it different ways or doing smaller amounts in there. If you get those basic things down, it's amazing all the things that you can make. So the last thing I want to go over is how to make a petal, like a flower. Let's do this, a flower. So what you're going to do is the center of the flower, you'll take that paper again. I'm using white again, just so you can guys get a basic idea. You're gonna go really, really tight. Keep it tight the whole time when you're turning it. Even if you're doing those loose ones, just keep it tight. You don't wanna overly do it and rip it, but you wanna keep it tight. Also, by the way, if you rip your paper, there's ways of fixing it. So once you get into it, don't just throw everything away, but don't, shouldn't be that rough anyway to make it that way, to rip it. So you have a curled like little thing. And then I'm gonna tape it down, keeping it tight. Okay. I kept it tight that whole time. Then I wanna make the center of my flower bigger. So what do? You find the same size paper, which I'll use another piece of white. And you continue on. What I like to do is find that loose end and continue on right there, just so that it doesn't add any extra bulk. You won't really notice anything because once it's all tight and everything, but I mean, what's the harm in just lining it up? So make sure you keep your hands, now the tool's gone, so you're using your fingers to just do it. So it's a little different than how you normally do it. You're using your hands. But sometimes, like if it's just easier to pull it off the tool, once you've got it started, you could do that too. I just find the tool really easy to use and it goes so fast. Like once you start going and you feel comfortable, you can do these, you can crank this out pretty fast. So, all right, so I'm coming to that loose end. And we're gonna glue that part down as well. So like I've made like my quilling, I've done these for all sorts of things. Like I made a shadow box one time and I had it up in my room when I lived at home when I was younger. And it was really cool. People would always comment on it. So now my little spool, little center of the flower is a lot bigger. That's the only reason why I did it. It was just literally to make it bigger. So I'm gonna take another piece of paper. This one I'm gonna leave long. And to save time, and I'll show you why, I'm gonna fold it in half. And then I'm gonna bring that up and I'm gonna fold it in half again. I'm all about saving time, making things easier. So now, I didn't say this in tools, but these are some Fisker scissors that I love. Has a little protector. What I love about them is that they're really sharp at the points. Now you can cut yourself, but if you're careful, what's nice is when you line it up. So I'm gonna cut through the paper, all 4 parts. And I'm gonna cut through, but I'm not gonna cut all the way through. I'm gonna leave that little bit. And I'm gonna keep going till it creates some sort of like, it looks like a fringe. Okay, and you're gonna keep going around until you get to the very bottom. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying as I'm doing this, as I was saying, like, you can do this, you can think of all sorts of things to make. And there's patterns on Pinterest and on Instagram that accounts you can follow. And you can kind of create your own, designs and put them, like I said, I did mine in a shadow box. You can do them on cards. The only thing with the card, it does create, they're thick. But if you're handing the card over, I mean, that's cool. And then or on the top of a present, you can put a card on top of a present. Let me tell you, when you make this stuff, people are like blown away. They can't believe that you did it. And you're like, it wasn't that hard. Anyway, so I got all of mine cut. And those little corners that was folded, I just go back over that and make sure that I've cut that. Again, do not cut all the way through. You're just cutting like a fringe. Okay, and one more. Okay, so I've got all that. Now you want to be careful because you can get that's a little, I went a little far. That's okay. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to start gluing the part that has the salt that hasn't been cut through. That side, I'm going to start cutting to my flower. And to save time, so I'll show you how I'm starting off. I'm turning it, I'm turning it, I'm turning it. It's basically like how we added that, right? So you keep going all the way down, and I'm gonna save time, I'm not gonna show you. But when you're all done and it's all dry, you can separate them by putting your thumb in that center point. You can separate it to be like that, okay? So that's like what it would look like. This isn't like, when you look up quilling, they don't usually show stuff like flowers like this, but this is how Martha Stewart taught me. No, this is how the Martha Stewart crafts kind of had shown me. And I just think the little ones are so cute. And I think the bigger ones are fine. The little ones are so cute. So those are like your basic shapes. That's like gonna get you started, and you'll be surprised how much you can do once you've kind of just got that down, just that tool and all that stuff. Once you have that down, you'll do great. So I'm gonna go through some examples of what you could do when you're all done. So like this right here is a card that you could make. And so you can see as we use those flowers as the head of the flower, and then I folded one piece of paper and curled one side and curled the other, and I glued it down. And again, I used Elmer's glue just to glue it down. Now you kind of have to a little bit of patience with it, with the stem, but it turned out pretty cool. This one was a heart. We kind of went over the heart. Again, I'm not perfect, so don't judge, and then I used extra paper to kind of create that heart around it, and you can make that into a card. So you can see it pops out about 1/4 of an inch. That's with this size paper. You could do a lot thinner paper, which I have as well, which is like this is thinner paper. But I think it makes more of an impact when you have thicker paper. So it just depends on what you're looking for. Then if you want to put flowers together, this is just with the round curl. And then I stuck, since that hole occurs in the middle of your spool, I stuck like floral wire. down. And then I used to have a vase full of these, and you can see I made them like that way too. So it looks really cool when you kind of put them together, and you can put it in a little vase. These would make really good like favors at a birthday or a party, and you can use them as decoration on like the table. That would be really cute. I'd be super impressed if I went to that party. So those are some examples. And then this is another example, a little succulent plant. Oop. Little succulent plant like that. So again, it's basic shapes. It's those round shapes. It's those teardrop shapes and that are like create leaves. And then I just framed out a pot. So, I mean, you can totally, just getting started, you know, there's a lot of things you can do. And again, like I said, I'm not a professional. I do not, like, it takes a lot of patience to do those intricate designs. But I just wanted to show you, like, even the basic stuff. It's pretty easy to make some pretty interesting things and some fun things that people really, really appreciate and love. And so, like, these, you could frame. You can put them up on your wall. You can make them into a card. You can do all sorts of things. And like I said, like what a cute Mother's Day gift or something like that. Or at a baby shower, put these in a little glass jar and everyone can take one or something. Like it really doesn't take that long once you get it down, and it's super fun. So yeah, so that is my video on quilling. Like I said, when I said you could do them in cards, I had made a video previously talking about, you know, sending cards and how I send my cards. So I'm going to link that down below so you can kind of watch that as well, about thank you notes and gift cards, sending them in the mail. So I'm going to post that down below. If you haven't watched it, please go down and see it. Please like this video and comment on what you decide to do. If you decide to quill or whatever, I would love to hear it. And which item was your favorite? What did you like best that I made? All right, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching. Bye.